Knock knock.
Who's there?
Oink oink.
Oink oink who?
Are you a pig or an owl?
Ha 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 ha. You got me.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Owls.
Owls who?
They sure do. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Adorable.
Adorable who?
A doorbell don't work. That's why I knocked. Knock knock.
All right. Who's there?
Goliath.
Goliath who?
Goliath be down though looks tired.
That was a little tough.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you glad we're telling jokes?
I'm ecstatic about it.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Olive.
Olive who?
All of my jokes are bad.
No comment.
Cue the music. Welcome to Don't Evolve Me, the place like Ash catching Pikachu. We don't evolve, we just level up. Brandon, hello.
Hello.
Should we just get into the news quickie right away?
Yeah. Just get
Let's
right
do
into
it.
It's time for a news quickie. Oh yeah.
Just kidding. This whole episode is the news. All right, welcome, Brandon. This is our strike or after strike news episode. Brandon kind of joined us on an impromptu episode. And
Movies
hello,
are
Brandon.
coming
Welcome.
back.
Movies
Hello.
are coming back. Actors are back. Writers were back.
Mhm.
And we're gonna talk a little bit about the news. There's not a whole lot of details yet. We're gonna kind of do a part one, part two a little bit, but it's all gonna be in this episode. So we're recording this November 11th, and we're gonna probably release this episode November 21st. So if there's any like big news or big things announced within this upcoming week, we'll talk about it in the later part of this episode. But we'll be at a later date. It'll be a week for us,
It'll be just a little bit for you guys, though.
like minutes, maybe an
Yeah.
hour, maybe.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Show me your socks. Show me your wares. Brandon, what are you wearing, man?
Oh, I'm lame today. I did not wear any Batman socks.
Oh
I just got my standard socks and an Under Armour hoodie.
I got Green Lantern. I'm actually wearing socks, but it's not nerdy. I'm like prepared to leave. I'm pretty prepared to go. And the house is pretty cold today in November.
Yep, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I'm sweatshirt up.
Okay. All right. What are you nerding out on, bud?
I've been playing Graveyard Keeper the last couple days again. It's kind of like a
what's that?
graveyard simulator / farming game. I don't know. It's weird. You wake up like teleported in a graveyard, and you're told that you're the new graveyard keeper, and you have to like upgrade the graveyard and the church, and you like hold sermons, but you can also like plant a farm, and then you run like a mortuary where you take the bodies and you get to like extract all their organs and then use that to make other stuff. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
It's kind
And then you eventually, you can even make zombies that'll do the work for you, like reanimate
Huh.
the corpses and have
What?
them work your farms and stuff.
What morbid soul came up with that game?
I'm not sure, but I love them for it. Hang on. I'll look
I mean,
up
do.
Graveyard Keeper is made by. Oh, hang on. Oh, what is it? Lazy Bear Games.
Weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
just a kind of an indie studio.
I
It's been
just
out
want to
for a
know,
few
like,
years.
I want to know, which person comes up to you, like, you know what the world needs? A simulation game on gravekeeping. Need it.
Hey, they were right. They were right. It's a
I mean,
great game.
there is the most famous simulator of all time, which is Goat Simulator, where you just play as the goat.
Yeah,
That
as
game's
the
silly
goat,
and fun.
the greatest of all time.
So what I'm nerding out on. So as always, One Piece. I'm on episode 159.
Okay, making progress.
making progress on I think it's called Skypiea, God's Land. It's like dealing with God, kind of.
Okay. That's interesting.
It really is, because it's like an island in the sky, but the island's all clouds.
How do they
Yeah.
sail to it?
They do. It's like a knock up stream, so it's a stream that like knocks up the boat in the air, and they have to like ride the stream and then make it safely on the cloud. It's
Interesting.
Interesting. It is. It's an interesting arc. I don't know how I feel about it. It's maybe one of the arcs that I don't really care about as much, but it's still like I'm still curious of what's going to go, like what's going to happen.
There is some news about One Piece that recently came out about the manga. The creator, not necessarily good news. The creator Oda, the writer, for the first time ever, or like one of the first times ever, was unable to complete the chapter in time for the Shonen magazine. He's on the final arc, and people are really worried that he's going to burn out before it's done.
I mean, he's doing better than George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've heard a lot, but like that's a really common thing in like manga or mangaku. I think that's what they call them, manga writers. Yeah, that their like work schedules are so heavy and so intense that they literally like get really sick and have a lot of health issues and stuff like that. Like that's what happened to the creator of Hunter x Hunter, and why it just stopped all of a sudden, because he got really sick and just recently started writing again. So hopefully if anything, he slows down a little bit and is able to finish this, because it would be a great shame if after 30 years or whatever, he was unable to finish it.
It would. I hope they finish the arc so they can. I just like it would like having news that One Piece has finally ended would be great.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's been on for so long. It deserves to have an ending, that's for sure.
I know we were watching the episode, and we've been doing Netflix for the One Piece, which ends at like episode 400. So we got to figure out, once we get that part, we got to figure out where to watch it.
Crunchyroll.
I know Crunchyroll. Yeah. Might have to do this subscription for that. But I know we accidentally pressed like one of the movies, and just comparing the animation style from like the movie to like the show, it was like, damn.
I've heard around 200 or something like that, I think, is when like the animation style starts to change and it gets a lot better.
It's slowly getting better as it goes.
Yeah, I heard there's like a time jump or something at some point, and then like that's when it really like gets cemented into like the future era of anime. It looks less like the older stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels at home watching the old anime, because it reminds me of like Dragon Ball Z when I watched it just a little bit as a kid. Moving on to the other pieces, Baldur's Gate 3 here and there. I finally get a desk in front of the giant TV because I didn't want to move my desktop.
You did, or you?
I used one of the folding tables and brought like a folding chair,
so you could sit down and actually see what you're doing.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Big change of pace. A couple other things. Loki. By the time this episode airs, it's a 75% chance I'm doing a fresh take on Loki, but I'm about 4 episodes into it. It's actually not bad. It's like if I spoil, well, no, I guess it's technically not a spoiler because it's going to come out. Right now I'm at like a 3+ range. Like it's not bad. There's some great moments into it. I like how they like actually decided just to be a TV show and not try to make a mini movie out of it.
Yeah.
Like just the scenes with like Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston just talking. Like
yeah, they're both great actors. I love Tom Hiddleston, and Owen Wilson's a legend.
So like if they could just sit down in a room for 60 minutes and they just like chat back and forth about like their lives. Water skis, Loki, you know, there was like one point where he's just like, I did take over, Manhattan and fought the Avengers. Wasn't a great plan, but I did it. Like they were just like talking back and forth. I'm like, this is great. I enjoy that aspect of it. And then there was like one interrogation scene where Loki just decides like, I am a villain. I am a bad guy, and I'm going to do bad guy things. And I don't know. That's like the part of it, that show that I really like. And then like the last scene that I watched was the whole the universe is, or all the time stream is going to go kablooey and it's going to be gone. There's like a lot of timey-wimey stuff that I'm like, I don't understand what's happening, but it's bad, I think.
Yeah.
And then And I'm like, that's the part where I don't really care for, because I'm like, I don't really understand what's going on. The show is like kind of like, I understand like the science. Maybe I'm just getting older. I don't know, but like I just don't quite understand the grasp of it. It's not really relatable.
Yeah,
Whereas like just I prefer the dialogue or like them being TV
the
shows.
characters. I mean, to be
Yeah,
fair, that's what made Marvel great to begin with. Was, I mean, like we go back and look at the earlier movies and stuff like that. None of them were like spectacular. Like
yeah.
Iron Man 1, like uh, uh, the villain and stuff in that movie. What's his name?
Uh,
Ironmonger. Is that what he
yeah,
said?
Ironmonger. I was gonna say Monolith, but I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah,
But it's
like he's not.
Ironmonger. Yeah,
Yeah, he's not like a great villain or anything like that. Like it's just pretty generic. But like those movies are all carried by, like their stars, the lead actor, and just like being interested in them.
oh yeah, just the character study, the character piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Tony
Iron Man
Stark.
2, even Iron Man 2 wasn't great, but just seeing him like going through the struggles of being Iron Man and like the government
Mhm.
interaction, like exciting, great
That was
stuff.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So,
The
and
character has
that's
always been kind of the best part in Marvel, I think, especially with like the acting choices and stuff like that, or the casting choices.
oh yeah, and it's I hope they do that. I know Marvel's just came out as we're recording this, which I have to go see and do a review, fresh takes for that.
Mhm.
And I just lost my train of thought. Loki is not bad. If they can get more into just the character study and kind of just focus on writing great dialogue and great stories
See,
with the characters without worrying about the plot, be great.
I think that segues a bit more into the Echo show, which I did watch the trailer for finally, and then
Yep.
I am pretty curious now. I love the idea of more one-off stories that are
Yeah.
less impactful and have less to do with the whole series as a whole. I think that is like one of the best decisions that Marvel can make at this
Yep.
point, because it's gotten so convoluted and tough. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
nobody is watching Loki. Like you, who have seen all the Marvel movies,
Yep.
can barely comprehend what's going on in Loki season 2, let alone new audience members and stuff like that that have no idea. So giving
Right.
people these entry points and stuff that they can just enjoy a good one-off show or whatever series, I think is a great idea.
I think
Especially making it looks much more like Netflix Marvel, especially with
Yeah.
the TVMA rating and stuff.
so. Do what is do what is successful before. Netflix,
Hmm.
Marvel, doing those type of TV shows or like doing Daredevil the way Daredevil was, and not necessarily copying it, but just understanding what made it great
Yep.
and kind of taking
What was
what's great and then taking like the comic book aspect of it that Marvel, like the MCU has, and then blending it together. So let's move on to some fresh takes, which also goes to like, what are you nerding out on? One of them is Pokemon MMO. Have you ever heard of this, Brandon?
Pokemon MMO?
Yeah,
No, I have not.
So Michael, who's a friend of the show, he sent me this link for Pokemon MMO, and it takes emulators from generations 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and puts it all into one expansive MMO game.
Okay.
And you can
Okay.
pick which region you play on. And I started Johto because I feel like Johto is like home for me. Like that's like where my most
Classic.
of my core memories, other than Kanto. But Kanto seems boring, and I've been playing Fire Red for like ever now.
Yeah.
So I started out in Johto, and like by the time you get to Gym 4, you can switch to other regions, and you can like trade mons or sell mons, which just gets into a whole ethical conversation. But like you can sell mons or buy mons from other regions and kind of make like your own team based on those 5 regions.
That's kind of cool.
It is
And
really cool.
Can you go and battle all of the gyms in all the regions?
Yep, I believe
So
so.
you can do all of them?
I believe so. I don't know. I'm still in only Gym 2 for
Fair.
Johto, so I haven't played it a whole much. But it's really cool to just see like other players like walking around and they have like Pokemon following them. Like today, I just saw a giant like Garchomp in like Azalea Town. I'm like, cool. Like it's a good break.
Is it online like you play in the web browser? Or is
It
like a game?
was. I think it was, but now I'm playing on the phone. The battle animations all touchscreen. So
Okay.
it's really it's pretty dope. It's you should check it out.
Is it an app that you downloaded? Or is
There
it
is
through the web?
I will
I'm
send
just
you the
confused
link.
where you're playing it. Okay.
I'm playing on the phone, but it's like you have to. It's not in the Google Chrome store. You have to like download it off the site.
Yeah,
and then you have
a side loaded app, but it's
Yeah.
an APK. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then the other one is we just talked about this in the episode that just got released. Mario Kart DLC's out.
Oh yeah, yeah, we were talking about that.
I played it last night.
Was it the best one? The final one?
I don't know if it's the best one. Wave 3 was pretty good with the Rainbow Road from 3DS, I believe. Or no. Yeah, I think it might be 3DS. The Rainbow Road from 3DS, Maple Freeway.
Okay,
Like that one was really, really good. However, I will say this one, I think out of the 7 out of 8 tracks, maybe 6 out of 8 tracks, I really, really enjoyed. So the first one starts off with Rome City track. And that one was surprisingly really good. It had like a moody tone to it. Like it's all like stormy night atmosphere. And then you go into
like Colosseums and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, going through the Colosseum, you get like a lantern light. Or like torch light. So it's kind of cool effect.
Atmospheric.
Atmospheric. Great word for it. Then it's DK Jungle, which is a classic. You get shooting the cannon, then you go down the mountain. That one's pretty good. Daisy Circuit's okay. It's all right.
That was a Wii one, right? The DK Jungle one. That was on Wii.
I believe so.
That where you shoot through the cannon or whatever and go down the mountain. Yeah.
And then it's a Piranha Cove. Piranha Cove Pipeline or something like that. That one, that was probably the best one of the whole that circuit. The first one or the first cup, really good. I would give it like a 4 in the rating scale. Like it was great. And then the last one, the Spiny Cup, dope. It was the first Madrid one wasn't the first track, which is this Madrid City track from World Tour. That one's okay. That was probably
just kind of a generic city.
Yeah, there was like one cool area where you go in the stadium. Like that's the coolest part, but it's literally like the last part of the track on lap 3. Number 2 is Rosalina's Ice World. Dope track. That was great. Then they did a Bowser's track for SNES, and that one has like it took a standard track, but just made it more and added just a bunch of like different dimensions to it that made it like a really fun, challenging track. There's one part where you're going like downhill, and there's like walls that you can climb, and you can jump from wall to wall. And I couldn't do it the first like laps. In the last lap, I'm gonna make this happen. I took like a wide turn to get it, and like it was like a fun achievement to actually get on like this narrow path wallway and make the jumps accordingly. And then the last one was Rainbow Road, and that's just trippy.
Yeah,
it's just a trippy one. So overall,
Rainbow Roads are always the best.
So overall, I'd say it's a 4 for like a wave.
Okay,
4 plus maybe. It's a pretty good wave.
So what do you think Nintendo does now? Do you think they start working on a new Mario Kart game, or do you think they just put it on the back burner for a few more years?
I think Mario Kart 9 comes out with the new Switch. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a year afterwards. But I think if they were to do it right, they would make a new Mario Kart 9 for the Switch too.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like the DLC was great and stuff like that, but there's no reason. I don't know. At the same time, I don't know. It's like, do you really need to make a whole new game? Unless you're doing like big changes like Double Dash style or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they've got the kind of game down.
They do. I feel like they might give it a few years. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think the best route is to release it when Switch 2 is released.
Yeah.
Or maybe a year or two afterwards. But yeah, I think the next game is Switch 2, which is weird because they kind of like skipped the Switch, but also like invested into the Switch era at the same time.
Yeah, right. They just like gave it a bunch more maps and stuff like that.
Technically gave us a new game if you think of it in terms of tracks.
Well, yeah, it literally double the amount of tracks that were in there to begin with, right?
Yeah. Which I wish more games would do that. Like I like the sports games. I wish they would just like, you know what, we're gonna like release a new game every 5 years or so, and we're just gonna
make updates every Oh yeah. You can
like,
get into a whole conversation about sports games. You know, if like they literally that's all they do is just reuse the same game from last year and just change.
And there'll be like 1 or 2 features, and a lot of times they like get rid of like the cool RPG elements to it. Like I really like enjoyed playing like franchises and building the franchises and doing like that aspect of it, Madden specifically. And then they just are like, you know what, we're not going to do that anymore. You can't expand your franchise. Like they went from like this really expansive franchise mode, and then they just cut it down for other more money making multi-person.
the sports game universe is very much in the greed zone.
It is. I don't even buy them anymore. I buy like
Yeah.
other sports games to get my fill, and it's kind of sad
Yeah.
because I used to play those games like all the time.
I mean, what I used to do, I think there's nothing wrong with even just like buying the Madden from like a couple years ago and
Yeah,
spending $5 on it at GameStop or whatever, and just buying that one and playing it. Because a lot of the
exactly.
time they even update the rosters and stuff a lot of the time when they're online. So
Oh, you
you'll
can.
even have like
Oh,
newer rosters in older
what's
games.
what's 2K? 2K4, NFL 2K4, the last of the 2K era for those games because EA kind of bought out the video game rights. They
Yep.
have mods where you can play the new rosters today,
Yep.
even.
Yep. And it's like, yeah, why would we spend $70 on that new game every year?
When you can play this game and it's arguably better than Madden still,
Yep.
which is kind of
Yeah.
sad. But like that's what happens when you have a monopoly. You don't get challenged.
Right. Speaking of football, real quick, how about that Vikings game last week?
It's Josh Dobbs. Pretty excited.
Yeah. I
I
did not expect that. I
I
saw the
didn't
first
either.
few minutes and I thought it was going to go horribly, and I didn't pay any attention because I was like,
What
oh God.
Imagine if the Vikings actually win the Super Bowl with like a Josh Dobbs type quarterback. Like I feel like that would be like the way we would win it, just randomly out of luck.
We've also been there like so many times. I feel like this is like not a new scenario for us. Like random quarterback coming in, we have a chance at the playoffs. Like this is kind of like
Case
a
Keenum.
Vikings. Yeah, this is kind of like the Vikings bread and butter right here. But we'll lose in the first round of the playoffs. Don't worry.
Hey, maybe we'll get creamed in the championship game. That's a thing too.
Yeah, it's true. We have made a few championships.
All right. Well, should we get into Sag-AFTRA?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it a little bit. Here's the information I know. I tried researching this morning to get like as much information I can, but there at this point in time, not much. It's a lot of like I wouldn't say propaganda, but like pro talk. Of course, like if they don't talk the specifics of the deal, every person from each side is going to talk the positives. Like, hey, we won.
Right.
So,
right.
Here's a quote from Chief Negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland, which is that's a name. It was a team effort. All negotiations to be successful require deep communication, both within your side and also with the other side. It's certainly not perfect for anyone. Good negotiation. Both parties come out feeling like they didn't get everything they wanted, but I think we got everything we needed and then some. I think this is going to be a legacy like deal. And so kind of like the little bit that we got is it's a 3-year deal. They talked how AI is like a year for AI is like 3 months. Like within 3 months, it's like a year has progressed.
Yeah, I believe that.
And if you think about it, this is like a 12-year deal then in terms of AI.
How far it's gonna expand in that time.
Exactly. So it's above the pattern minimum compensation, as in it's higher than what normal minimum compensation has been, and a lot of unprecedented protections. No details as of what those mean. I even wrote the question like, what is the protections against AI? And that was like the two big things: compensation, especially for streaming services, and then AI protection, because they would literally scan you for a day, they pay you for the day's work, and use your likeness for
forever.
lifetime.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. I mean, look at what they did in the Flash movie. They literally reconstructed George Reeves. Was that the old Superman actor? The original Superman actor?
I feel like that. Why Christopher Reeves?
Christopher Reeves. No, well, what was the one before him? Was it George something?
I don't remember.
Like
Christopher Reeves was the first for Superman, and I don't believe there was a Superman before him.
Look, I thought that there was one before him. Continue.
But so there's more minimum wage, advanced protections against AI. Actors will get streaming revenue, and even more so than originally thought. And if you want your likeness to be used by AI or CGI, you have to be asked. Like no one can use your likeness without permission.
I don't know where I got George Reeves from, but you are correct. I don't know what I was thinking that,
You
but
said
yeah,
George Reeves. I'm like, that's close,
yeah,
but not quite right.
yeah.
My brain's
I
like,
swear that I swear there was like somebody that played Superman in like the 50s or something like that, like in some movie or something. But I guess I was wrong.
yeah. So basically, we don't know much of the details, nor I don't think either of us are really interested in the core details. But it sounds like, for the most part, the actors got what they wanted. Not that just they
Yes.
got what they wanted, they got what they needed, especially from streaming services. Because when I
Yep.
hear like I think Aaron Paul plays Jesse from Breaking Bad. He's talking about how Breaking Bad is this huge show for Netflix, just like huge. A lot of people rewatch it on Netflix. They made all
Mhm.
this money. He saw nothing, none of
Yep.
it. And he's like, other than Waltz, other than Bryan Cranston, the biggest character on that show. And it's kind of surprising that like he didn't get a single dime. It doesn't
Yep.
make sense. Like he arguably was at least half of the show.
Oh, I mean, it's even worse for a lot of the people that like made their because at least Breaking Bad was on A&E and like he
Yep.
got that money. But like
Yep.
think about the shows that went directly to streaming and they just get paid a flat rate and then that's it.
Yeah.
And they see no residuals, no nothing, depending regardless of how popular or whatever their
If the
show was.
the show bombs, that's it. If the show makes millions, if not, well, I think millions. If not, I don't think has the show made billions.
On Netflix, I'm not sure. They don't. They're pretty hard.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
really release their numbers.
If they made millions, if they made billions of dollars, you see nothing. Netflix collects all of it. The producers collect all of it.
Yep.
And it's just one of those like Friends, right? News of
Yep.
Matthew Perry, besides the news of Matthew Perry, but like they don't get any of those residuals, and that's like one of the biggest streaming shows. I think didn't Peacock pay like $1 billion? No, Netflix paid like $1 billion.
Yeah, they paid a ton for it. Yeah, to keep it on
like,
there.
who got the money? Not the actors, not the people who
Nope.
did the labor. No, it's the producers.
NBC? Yeah.
The executives, the people who own the show. And it's nice to know that now actors will get paid at least a little bit.
They deserve to be compensated for it because the shows. I mean, they're the ones that are actually making it.
Same
Like directors and stuff obviously have a lot to input, but without the actors, there's nothing.
Yeah, and like we're not thinking. I know like some of the casual fans who watch this stuff or listen to this stuff, they don't really understand like the royalties of all of it. But like, let's say if you do work 30 years ago and it suddenly gets popular or big and everyone's watching or rewatching it and you don't make a dime off of it, it's like, wait, what? People are making millions, if not billions of dollars off my work and I'm not getting nothing out of it.
There's a lot of stories of like actors and stuff that have been in some of these like really popular Netflix shows that are really popular, but they're living broke lives, like struggling while their shows are popping off on Netflix because they don't get any more money from it.
And I'm happy now that it's going to be changed now. It's like these actors are going to be compensated. They don't have to worry about AI or CGI use. I wonder how this is going to work for like character or for people who die though. Because there's going to be a lot of like need and want. I'm thinking like Star Wars with Princess Leia, Grand Admiral Tarkin when they use their CGI characters. Like, what does this mean?
It's a good question of the people that have already passed. That's a good question because I think that was part of the protection that people wanted was to not have their likenesses used without their permission. It's a whole nother story, I guess, if they give their permission, but it's a good question as far as like the actors and stuff that have already passed away. They can't give permission, I guess, maybe like their families or like
next
whoever leads like their estate or whatever could maybe make that decision.
Yeah, I feel like once you pass or like if a certain amount of time, like your likeness should be used for the public, especially if you are like an icon of sorts. I think there's an argument for that usage, but I also think there needs to be like certain amount of respect and money through like royalties.
Yeah,
like, let's say if,
I mean,
like
if somebody's using like my great grandfather in their movie, then at the very least, then I should be getting paid for it.
Yeah, you
like
should get some royalties.
Should get money, for it or something like that.
So
shouldn't just get to use it for free. I know, like James Earl Jones did tell Disney that they could like continue using his voice and stuff after he passed away.
Okay,
and like gave them permission to do that kind of stuff, and I think that's fine. When you give them permission and stuff like that, but it's all about permission and respecting people's rights.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is respect the people, respect the laborers, and not just using their likeness for cheap cash grabs. And I think that's like the biggest thing of like all of this in our whole society too, is just like respect the laborers. Like they're the one making you the money. And I think like a big thing to come away with this, especially when with all these other unions are striking and fighting, and we're kind of living in this.
It's almost like a labor revolution in a sense.
A little bit, yeah. Starting by the writers, I think like respect, because here's the thing, I found this out too. LA over the last 3-4 months lost $6 billion. Not just movie studios, restaurants, other like salons, or other businesses in LA lost all this money because there wasn't enough money to go around, and they end up losing $6 billion that would have been there if these strikes weren't given. And here's the thing, that now money is going to be pouring in a lot more, because there's going to be more money shared around. And we can get really political with all this. And I know me and you can go back and forth with the politics. This isn't really more a political show, but I do want to like highlight these points and highlight the struggles that the writers and actors kind of started, and also celebrate the fact that they're back, so we can we can celebrate the entertainment and all the news that's pouring in.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, it's a good day to be a movie fan.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
All right, should we get into our actual news quickie?
Yeah,
that's not a quickie.
Yeah, the actual show.
I don't know if it's the actual show. Oh, I mean, like we're still in the actual show, but like I have 20 bits of news.
All right. Well, let's just start with number one. What do you got?
Actually, never mind. 19 bits. The first one literally just says, "Just kidding, it's half the show." All right. Number two, you brought this up. Only one movie is coming out in 2024 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is Deadpool 3. And it seems like it's going to be July 26th. I think is the release date. Ryan Reynolds.
It honestly seems kind of fast, considering the fact that they had to like stop shooting and everything like that. It's almost like worryingly fast.
I think they were halfway.
Maybe they had maybe they had a lot more shooting done than they said. I guess I don't know how that worked. Like, were they still, I guess, like the CGI and like the graphic designers and stuff like that weren't on strike? So maybe were they still able to work on the movie? Or was
I think they were
like
still. I think they were still producing some of it. I know Ryan Reynolds during the writer's strike couldn't improvise anything. And then they shut down. They were in the middle of filming because we got the Deadpool and the Wolverine costume.
Yeah, we got those leaks.
Which looks dope. I mean, the Deadpool one already looked dope, but the Wolverine one, my God,
super stoked to see Wolverine in his classic outfit,
his bright yellow and blue suit. And also, not to be too spoiler, but Kevin Feige was asked if the X-Men were coming soon, and he said perhaps. And I will say, from the spoilers I saw from this new Marvels movie, there is mutants, and X-Men are mentioned into it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm pretty worried about that.
It sounds exciting from what I've seen.
Yeah, I just I worry that they're gonna pull in a bunch of the old people again, and we're just gonna get another version of the X-Men that is irrelevant to the actual MCU.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we've gotten in WandaVision and in the Illuminati, and
you're kind of right on the money on that one.
Like all these teases that actually don't mean anything.
Yeah.
For the greater thing.
I'm excited for Deadpool 3 because apparently
I'm definitely excited.
Shit ton of cameos, and the rumor is it's going to be Deadpool kills the Fox universe.
That would be awesome. I'd be down for that.
It would be amazing. Apparently, the Magnetos are like the villain. I don't know how I feel about that, especially with
like Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender.
That's the rumor.
Okay.
So I'm excited for Deadpool 3, though. That's like the one movie that I'm like, you can't. I can't. I don't want to say you can't fail it. I just did a TikTok on Thor: Love and Thunder, and I was really mad because I'm like, this movie doesn't seem like it can fail, but it failed. So I'm not going to say it can't fail, but I'm like, I have high hopes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can't fail for the sake of Marvel. That's for sure.
No, if Deadpool 3 fails, like, jump boat, everybody. It's a sinking ship.
Yeah. If the most popular come back in Marvel. I mean, to be fair, this is still like we've never seen Disney's Deadpool,
That's fair. That is fair.
so
Uh,
we really don't know.
it sounds like Deadpool's still going to be Deadpool, though.
That's what I hope. I mean, I
I,
hope. I
I,
hope it.
I, I will say if they ever did a Deadpool, like a PG-13 Deadpool, but like made it part of the story where like he got PG-13 and couldn't swear a single time, and every time he did, there's just some random beep brought out, and like Ryan Reynolds is just reacting to every time he swears and hears a loud beep and just like beep, beep,
Isn't it?
beep, beep.
Isn't that kind of what they did with Deadpool 2? Didn't they do like a family version, like a Christmas version of it or something like that?
I
was,
think
like,
so. I
censored?
think so.
I think they did do that.
But I think it'd be just really cool if they did like that in a movie, even if it was PG-13. Let's say that like their first R-rated movie like doesn't get the numbers, and they're like, we're gonna make a PG-13 version of this, but did it like that way. I'm like, that would be cool. Ultimate Spider-Man Deadpool, that episode I think does it really, really well.
Yeah, I think it's a good joke, but I don't think that like Deadpool could exist in a PG-13 entirely. I think maybe even like a short time, like if he was like in the crossover New Avengers movie or something like that, and then they were like, oh, he's got to be censored for it.
I think they'd be better at that. Yeah,
fourth wall break. I think that would be funny, but I don't think you can just like neuter Deadpool like that entirely.
Or just like Doctor Strange is like he says the one curse word you get per PG-13 movie. He's like, hey, it's the Young Avengers. Wow, what a fuck beat, and then Doctor Strange like, all right, I'm sick of this language, and does like a spell. So every time he does it,
a censoring spell.
and like that, and like that's just how it is for the rest of the movie. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, I think that would be okay.
Oh, technical difficulties. I don't know what's happening. I just hear,
Hello? I'm
here.
Okay. I
you
got kicked out.
You never left on my screen.
Oh, I got kicked out on my screen.
I just heard, and I'm like, well, something's happening.
I'm back now. I see you again.
Good. All right. Moving on. Because I have a lot of these.
Yeah.
So with that being said, with the only movie, Deadpool 3 being that movie for 2024, Captain America, I think New World Order, or they changed it. Either way, Captain America, Thunderbolts, they're all being moved to 2025. And so, same as this movie that I didn't hear that was coming out, and I have mixed thoughts on it, and that movie's Mufasa, the Lion King.
Disney just can't let anything die, can they?
They cannot. And also, it's not animated. It's CGI.
Didn't that last Lion King movie do like terrible? I think live action one?
I think the numbers did well. I remember watching it, and they're like, we made lions realistic. But I'm like, lions don't express emotion.
Yeah.
We're going to make it realistic. You're going to make it boring?
Yep. I don't like that.
I don't need my Lion King to be realistic. It never was realistic.
Yeah. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa were like the best part of that. And, without their cartoon animated selves. It's not fun.
I feel like that there's a whole discussion to be had between what's better, animation or live action, which we can continue that discussion when I announce news number 7.
Yeah, okay.
But like, there is a discussion to be had there.
Oh, yeah.
But for Lion King, if this was animated, they were making an animated Mufasa the Lion King, I would be down.
Yeah.
But if it's CGI, I'm
like if they actually like took the time to make an interesting, like fun story that was really well animated and stuff like that, kind of more akin to the original style, I think that'd be a lot more interesting. Yeah,
and just like the newer version of animation.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I'd be down. All right, moving on. Fantastic Four. I don't think it has a release date yet, but there is news that it's going to be influenced by, I think it's one of your favorite shows. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Interesting. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Does that mean that Glenn Howerton is playing Reed Richards? Because I have heard that rumor before.
Maybe. They don't have
I think he would be decent at it. I like him a lot. I think he's a good actor. I've never seen him play something like such a smart character or something like that, but I think he could do it.
I don't know. I can't say because I have to watch that show, but I actually might watch the show a little bit.
I love Always Sunny. I will warn you that if you start from the beginning, You have to
Yep.
bear in mind that the show was made like 20 years ago,
Yep.
and some of the humor is a little bit offensive, but it does
Eh,
get better. Yeah. So just
I
bear
feel
that
like
in mind.
yeah.
Because like there's some stuff that like people want to like, like cancel and stuff like that. But it's like it may not be right, but it was 20 years ago, and I don't think that we should change things that
It's like watching old South Park or
yep, very much
ooh,
so.
speaking of South Park, I should have done fresh takes for this. I watched the Pandaverse.
Oh, okay.
So
Was that good?
we are talking about Disney and Marvel. Oh, it was really good. It was talking about how Disney wants to like make everything like they want all their characters to be replaced by women who are like of different culture. And Eric Cartman's like nightmare is that he's going to be replaced to being like a sassy black woman. And then like they cross the multiverse and like Cartman is a sassy black woman who bear in mind all Cartman wants to do is play Baldur's Gate 3.
What a king.
And it's funny too because like the other sub story is about how like nobody knows how to do anything and repairmen get rich because like everybody needs a repairman, but there's only like 2 or 3 repairmen in the town, so they become like Amazon and Google. No, Amazon, Facebook, and I think Elon Musk. They made like those representations, and I felt so called out in this episode because I'm like, man, I don't know how to do shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do shit, and all I want to do is play Baldur's Gate 3 at the moment. Like, I feel called out right now. Like, someone please replace me so I can be
finger on the button.
Please replace me so I can be a multicultural woman. So it was good. Apparently, Disney's not happy with it.
Yeah, well,
because they also talk about Kathleen Kennedy a lot, whereas Eric Cartman's like, fuck you, Kathleen Kennedy, you ruined this. But like at the end, they twist it on you to make it seem like the whole reason why she does everything is because toxic Star Wars culture changed it, and basically like kind of made it. Fault. Yeah, it's like, you know what? It's not. She's not to blame. That was kind of like the message at the end. I'm like, ooh, I love that twist. I feel called out though.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the news and that sideway. We should do like a special segue, like segue.
Just have a soundboard cut in.
ADHD segue. Guitar.
That'd be good. I have to work on that.
I need that. I gotta stop doing all the voices for the production sounds because I feel like, I don't know, narcissistical almost. Like I do the news quickie, I do the intro. I'm like, man, I need other people to voice act for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start.
I agree. All right,
you gotta hire the narrator from Baldur's Gate 3.
Ooh, maybe for my story.
Yeah, see if you can get a cameo from her. I'm sure she's very, very rich now.
She's probably very busy right now with like offers.
Yeah, I'm sure. All of the voice actors from that game are so good.
I agree. All right, moving on. Moving to the DC side of things. Superman Legacy is now filming in March 2024, and it's still set for the 2025 release date, which is big news. I was pretty excited for Superman Legacy. I think James Gunn's going to do excellent.
I hope so, but I have a real hard time getting hopes up for anything DC or really Marvel too at this point.
I agree, but it's James Gunn.
Yeah, but we haven't seen anything yet.
I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I know, but we haven't.
I've seen Scooby-Doo.
It's not. I know it's James Gunn, but it's James Gunn working for WB, which is apparently the worst production company in the history of production companies.
He says he has complete freedom, which James Gunn
I'm sure the creator of that Wile E. Coyote movie thought so too.
Fair. Here's what I'm going to say for James Gunn DCU, because I see all these articles talking about DC, and I think I'm going to have to make a DC episode kind of like talking about this a little bit further. But here's what I have to say about Superman DC and James Gunn. If he does have creative freedom, if he does have all the control over these stories, if we look at his past work, he respects the characters, and his movies are driven by his characters. Guardians of the Galaxy, all character work. The last one was better than like the first two, which was a hard bar to top. Let's look
Suicide
at
Squad.
the Suicide Squad. His character work in that movie, wonderful. Peacemaker.
Oh yeah,
Like we've seen his DC work already. It's great.
Yeah.
He's a great. He knows characters.
I just don't trust WB. I guess that's where I'm at.
Well,
the decisions that they've been making, and
I agree.
I don't even think it's going to exist in a couple of years. To be honest,
maybe not. But if James Gunn is able to do this with the freedom, it's going to be great. I have no doubt it's going to be great. But we'll see studio interference. We'll see like the numbers. We will see.
That Wile E. Coyote movie apparently had really good reviews. Like people were loving it, and they still just canceled it, and they just wrote it as a tax write-off instead of releasing it. So that $30 million. But Batgirl 2 they said it was horrible. Yeah, like they knew it was bad. Whereas this Wile E. Coyote movie, like test audiences were rating it in like the 90s. Like it was getting like really good reviews, and they're like, no, we're just gonna get a $30 million tax write-off instead of releasing this. Or there's even studios that were offering to buy it, Netflix and like Hulu and stuff, but they just wrote it off instead. So no one will ever see this movie. Yeah, that was a lot of passion put in by the director and stuff like that. Like it was something that he was very into. Yeah. So I don't trust WB to do anything anymore.
That's fair. That is very, very fair. I trust James Gunn. You distrust WB. I think we're both fair. We'll see what happens.
I'm hopeful, but I just maybe if WB gets sold again in the next year, like people are saying it will, maybe the new owners will have better chance or more faith in the studio.
I will say how they're handling the DC EU exit isn't great with like their marketing and stuff. It's kind of been
super confusing. Super confusing, and it's gonna pull a lot of people away.
Yeah, it already has. I feel like Aquaman's like no one's gonna see it.
Oh yeah. I mean, did you see Blue Beetle?
I did. I haven't even reacted to it yet. It's a film. It's good. It's decent character work, but it's hard to get excited by it. Nothing special, yeah. I would like it more if it was like a James Gunn film. Not because like it's James Gunn written, but I mean just like if it was under the DCU title, I'm like, cool, I know this is going somewhere. I know
it's hard to care, when you don't even know like is this part of the greater universe or not? Yeah,
it's confusing. It's just kind of like it's a movie. And that's kind of what it is.
It feels very like on an island, standalone, like just like it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, let's move on to the next news a little bit, just to continue on DC. Batman Brave and the Bold, still very in early production, makes perfect sense. Director Andy Muschietti, which I believe he was the director for The Flash. He's currently working on his current project, which is Welcome to Derry. And I forgot to Google this. I want to know.
It's an It thing.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, well, I just Googled it. I see a red balloon. It is.
I think it is. Because it's Derry, Maine.
Sapphire is going to love the fact that this is coming out, and we're going to have to watch it.
Yeah, I heard there was a third It movie that was supposed to come out too.
How?
Yeah, I know that was the weird story. Because the story, over. Stephen King's story is over.
Oh, this is It Chapter 3, Welcome to Derry.
Oh, okay. So this is the third one.
Is this like It the beginning?
Maybe it's like a prequel.
Oh, Max, it's a prequel series, Welcome to Derry.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Well, you're learning about cool. Was Andy Muschietti the director for Flash? I'm pretty sure he was. It sounds
very familiar.
Yep, he's the director. Okay. So moving on, let's talk about the big news, and we can continue this animation or live action. Avatar: The Last Airbender for Netflix, coming out February 22nd, 2024.
I did watch the teaser trailer, but I'll be honest, I didn't feel like I saw anything in it. It was very brief.
It was the lore. It was the world. It was a teaser trailer that's showing off the world. And compared to the movie, it looks great.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that's a really low bar.
It cleared it. They did it. They
Yeah.
did the job of clearing it. I will say it does look great though. Looking at the characters, looking at Zoku, looking at Iroh.
I'm excited. I'm interested. I mean, they did good with One Piece, so hopefully that means that they'll do well with Avatar. It deserves it.
I hope so, but the original creators are no longer working on it. And after that, I was like, just drop it. It's not going to be good.
Yeah,
because like that's what happened with M. Night Shyamalan's movie.
Yeah, so, but M. Night Shyamalan is a whole nother bag of worms.
That's fair. So I'm excited for it, but I will announce on this show that we are going to be an Avatar show. We will be following it. I think me and you had discussions, and we're gonna make it a thing after we do Batman, which we don't have a whole lot of time to finish up Batman.
No, we have to do that still.
So we're gonna finish up Batman, and then we're gonna do an Avatar, kind of a state of review, but for the TV show, at least for the first series. Korra, I'm not too worried about, but we'll get to Korra afterwards.
Yeah, I will say Avatar is the best honorary anime ever made.
Honorary?
Yeah, it's not technically an anime because it was made in America.
Oh, gotcha. Honorary anime. I had this conversation in the last week's episode talking about how Avatar is very much inspired by anime. It is honorary.
Yeah.
Anime.
Oh, it is.
It's
and it does a good job of respecting and adhering to the idea behind it. I feel like
it doesn't go in that title, but I think even if you put it in the anime genre, which I think you could argue it belongs, even though it's not technically anime because it's not Japanese. I think you can make the argument that it belongs, and I think if you put it in there, I think it holds up. And
it does.
Would you say
it's
top
one
5?
of the better animes?
Top 10.
I feel
right?
like top 10. Yeah, definitely. I could slot it into top 10 if I was comparing it with other animes I've seen for sure.
Well, you asked me a question.
Is great.
You asked me a question yesterday when we had a phone call. Ask it again.
What was the question I asked you?
It was Avatar based. Avatar or
Korra?
No. We did have that discussion. No, Avatar: The Last Airbender or the anime that I'm watching.
Oh, or One Piece?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Avatar is better because it has an ending.
Yeah. I mean, based on that,
not just an ending, it has a great ending.
It has an amazing ending. I will say it is a hard, I have to think about it. Like, One Piece is arguably one of the best animes of all time.
Yeah.
Avatar though is I think I'm trying to think where I'd place it.
There's definitely a bit of nostalgia to it too that I feel like ties in because I mean, I watched it when I was younger.
Both shows.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't watching One Piece when you were a kid.
No, I knew of it.
I wasn't either. Yeah, I wasn't watching any anime when I was a kid, but I did watch Avatar.
I saw Luffy and I'm like, he looks goofy. I don't know. But Avatar though, I'm excited for it. It's even though it's Netflix, even though I kind of bailed out early when I heard the creators aren't going to be a part of it. If it's as good as One Piece, the live action is, if it can bring that
to the source material and
it respects it. Everyone's names are correct. They're not trying to be Ong.
Yeah.
God,
just
so cringe. Yeah. If they respect it and it's it's a One Piece type of remake, I'm here for it. I'm in. If it's trash, I will do this first season. That's it.
Yep.
Well, if it's trash as the first movie, I'm sorry. We're done. Because that first movie was fucking awful. I still have never finished it.
Yeah, I've never even started it, to be honest. I have no interest.
You should start it. If you want to get angry, start it.
That's okay.
That's tempting.
That's tempting.
If you want to get mad, if you're just you know what? I just really want to get pissed off. Put it on for 10 minutes and I guarantee, you will be there. Cause the action is just awful. Think it reminds me of a play where they're we're going to throw this rock at somebody, but instead of an actual rock, it's it's a cardboard cutout of a rock with a string attached to it. And it's just flying through the air. That's how bad the animation, that's how bad the CGI is. It's horrible. And then they're just and they are all lifeless. In their acting, It's 10 minutes. You're going to be pissed off. It's horrible.
Interpretive dance.
It is like one of the few movies I give a 1 star.
Yeah.
Or a 1 rating. Like, it's just trash. Like, that's the movie. That's the example. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender from M. Night Shyamalan.
It's so bad that it's just bad. It's not even so bad. It's good.
I mean, if you're not an Avatar fan, you probably will get drunk and enjoy it. But if you are an Avatar fan, you're just mad. You're just pissed off. Like, it's not even fun. It's not like Batman and Robin where you're just like, you know what, this is horrible.
Laughing at it.
But it's kind of comical. No, it is comical. Like, if you go into it. But no, there's not even puns. It's just bad acting, bad everything. All right, should we move on?
Sure. We got almost halfway done.
The Boys.
Oh yes.
Coming in 2024.
Yes.
Not much news of when it's coming, but it is coming out in 2024. My guess is June, because it usually comes out in June.
Yeah, summertime.
So I'm gonna say June 2024, but who knows with this actor strike now ending? Like, it's hard to say. But yeah, 2024, it's coming. Gen V, we just reviewed it. It's great. Season 4 is exciting because like Gen V kind of like ties into the new Gen or season 4. I'm excited for it.
I'm hyped for The Boys. I think, the Boys and Invincible proving that superhero fatigue is not a real thing.
They are the
Bad
heroes
movie.
we need.
Yeah, it's bad writing fatigue.
Maybe not the heroes we deserve, but the heroes we need.
Mm-hmm.
Which, speaking of, we really need to do The Dark Knight. That's our next Batman.
Yep. That one should be enjoyable to watch, and at least it's only 3 instead of 4.
Hey, I thought the
It's
other
been a
4
while.
were enjoyable.
They were more enjoyable than I thought they were going to be, but I feel like I'll definitely
It's more comical.
Yeah, like actually get more invested into the Dark Knight trilogy again, because it's been so long since I've seen it too.
So, all right, moving on. This one actually I should have tied into Avatar a little bit, because we were talking about One Piece and anime ending. Attack on Titan has ended.
Finally coming. Yeah. Wait, is it over now? Like the last episode came out?
The finale was, or at least like the review is out. I don't know.
Okay.
But apparently it's amazing.
I've been waiting for that to get over because everyone's been telling me to watch it for so long, and then I was just like, at this point, I'll just wait for the end, and then I can binge it. If it's over, that means that it's time to watch Attack on Titan.
I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I will say like the quality is pretty good. I think emotionally, I just wasn't ready to watch it when it came out. Like, I wasn't ready to get invested in a whole new series, and it wasn't like that. Like One Piece is kind of like fun loving, whimsical. It's like, oh, this is like an easy watch. Whereas Attack on Titan,
it's not an easy watch.
No, it's really serious, but like it is quality. Like it is.
Oh yeah.
From what I've seen, I'm like, you know what? If I got into it, I think I would enjoy it more for like the great show that it is, because I hear that it is great. But like, I'm just not in the mood.
They did switch studios, I think, after the first season, so it does look a little different after this first season. Like the animation is a little different and stuff like that.
Well, I'm excited for this for the story. It is now ended.
Yep. Now it's time.
It is on my watch list. When I watch it, who knows?
Yeah, I never realized how important endings were to me until just like recently. After watching so much stuff that does not have endings, like just leaving, it's like leaving like doors open in my brain. I don't know. Like I can't close the chapter on it because there's no conclusion.
That's how I feel looking at my video game shelf. It's just a bunch of doors left open. Actually, right now, it's just a bunch of games left on the floor that I'm pretty sure some of them are probably broken because my daughter likes to throw them all over the place and jump on them. I would try to stop her, but I also put it in her room. So
that's kind of your fault.
It
was a good idea when she couldn't climb up and grab stuff.
Yeah. I should put it. I'm looking at a spot in my office that I'm like, I should just put my shelf like right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you like a lot of those video games, like the older ones, stuff like that. It's not like you're playing them all the time. They could just sit on the shelf and on your office instead of in your
and the Switch games, the PS4 games, I don't have a PS5 yet. They're all top anyway, so it's all PS3, Xbox, PS2
stuff that you don't really play very often, if at all.
No, but I will say she also has access to the Nintendo 64 games, and some of them are kind of expensive, and she will just chuck them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, heck, even some of those older like PlayStation 1, even some PlayStation 2 games and stuff like that can be worth a little bit of money nowadays.
That's fair. Speaking of which, she chucked a Pokeball at me today.
She's trying to catch you.
I know. It's like, you can't catch Daddy. That's not how this works. Like, I'm not yours to catch. She chucked it right up my head.
I'm not a wild Pokemon.
It was my fault. I gave her a Pokeball because she has all these like Pokemon plushies now that she just absolutely loves. She picked Charmander and she'll just hug it to death. But she also likes Squirtle because like she knows it's like mine, and she's a big Daddy's girl, so she'll switch between the two. And I'm like, I'm gonna give her a Pokeball because it's gonna be cute, and immediately throws it at my head.
You should start watching the new Pokemon anime with her. It's supposed to be really good.
I should. I'm watching the old one with Scott. We're getting to Generation 4. Speaking of animes that never end, that one just ended. And my God, that one's long and nothing but it's 90% filler.
Yep.
But it's a nice.
It's very much a kid show.
It is pretty. It's fun to just put on. I will say that.
I've heard that. I haven't seen any of the new one, but I think the new one is going to be a little bit more structured and have more of like an actual story to it. The new Pokemon anime.
Yeah, I hope so. I will say, I forget what it's called, Pokemon Origins, where they do it based off the game Red and Blue. That it's only 4 episodes long, but that one's like one of the best ones. Just animation wise, story wise, great. I wish they would just do it based off the old video games.
Ash is like a legendary character, but at the same time, like we're over Ash.
Yeah, he can be on the.
He's been 10. Yeah, he's been 10 years old for 20 years.
Yeah, we've had 20 years of Ash. We can move on.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of moving on. Speaking of Nintendo, did you hear this news, Brandon? Zelda, Link, live action movie being made.
I think I did hear a rumor about that.
Yeah, it's official. Sony Pictures are doing it. I forget the director's name, but apparently, like 13 or so years ago, he talked about how a Zelda live action, like how he would do it. Like there was a whole like tweet of like him talking about how live action Zelda would be amazing, and now he gets to do it.
Okay. I almost feel like they could have done the Mario treatment with Zelda and made like a really good animated movie like the Mario movie. That's just fun.
A little bit deeper.
Like Zelda's definitely got a lot deeper lore and like more serious, I guess.
Yeah.
Than Mario, but I thought the Mario movie was really good, to be honest.
I thought it was good for what it was.
Yeah, I mean it's not like a groundbreaking movie or anything like that, but as far as like if I want to watch a movie about Mario, I mean that's about as much fun as it gets.
It does the trick.
Yeah.
I will say, yeah, I agree with you. I think an animated version I would have been a lot more hyped for. Live action, I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah, live action is just such a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like think back, what live action versions of cartoons have been successful? The One Piece show,
amazing,
and nothing else is coming to mind.
I mean, yeah, you put me on the spot of like,
I can't think of anything. I can think of a lot of
Powderpuff Girls
versions. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could think of all of like Aladdin and all of Disney's other live action movies they've done, and none of those have been successful.
I mean, The Jungle Book wasn't too bad, but again, it's kind of the same thing. It was like,
yeah.
No, I can't think of it. So I don't know.
So that's what makes me worried. That translation.
All right. And going into video games, it's got also a bunch of video game news. And this one was waiting for 10 years exactly. I think
GTA
10 years.
6.
GTA 6, my friends. It's about time.
Yeah.
Who would have thought back then when Skyrim just came out a couple of years ago, GTA 5 came out? Were you there at my house when I did a GTA 5 opening party? Were you there?
I don't think so.
Trent was there.
Trent?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just a random mention of Trent. I remember him being there. I think Dalton, our old crew.
The old McDonald's crew.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it online, so I had to wait a couple days, so it kind of sucked. But and GTA 5, I can't even play it on PS3 anymore. And that's how old it is. It came out on PS3, but here it is on PS5. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, GTA 6 finally announced. Trailers coming out soon. I believe early December is when the trailer is coming out. Early map predictions. What do you think? Vice City?
I don't even know. I don't know how you top GTA 5.
You just make GTA 5 in another city.
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty much
guess.
it.
Yeah.
Difference.
I feel like there's a reason why they've been dragging their feet so long on this is because they didn't know how to top it. They didn't know, like, they didn't want to just release
That's
another
fair.
version of the same game.
Yeah, I think
Like
so.
graphics and like actual mechanics and stuff like that are already like there's
Pretty
only so
top
much more you
notch.
can do at this point.
Yeah, and they were also working on Red Dead Redemption 2, which
Yep.
is fantastic. That game looks gorgeous.
Yep.
Um,
I feel like those are easier to make like sequels to and stuff like that, especially I don't know.
I mean, GTA 5 was just a giant playground with bank robbing. Like,
Yeah.
I think you could do that, but like, I do like the fact that they're just like, hey, 2 years later, or 1 year later, let's just make GTA 6. Like, no, they're taking their time to actually make like an amazing game.
I will agree with that.
You would hope.
I just the question is I'm just curious to see what it is. I know it'll be successful. I mean, there's no way it won't be.
I hope not.
I mean, I guess I know there was some controversy and stuff with like Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what it was, but I know people weren't the biggest fans of Rocksteady or not Rocksteady. What is Rockstar?
Rockstar.
Yeah. But
I don't know. I loved Red Dead 2. I thought that game, story wise,
I know the game was great. I feel like there was something like external or something like that about it that people weren't very happy about. Not necessarily the game itself.
Working conditions, maybe.
Yeah.
Type. He's looking it up.
You can't hear anything. Don't worry about it. You can't hear my keyboard.
Oh, my headphones can hear your keyboard.
I guess there was a feminist punching controversy.
Feminist punching? I don't remember.
Yeah, or killing suffragette people, like women that were advocating for women's rights to vote and having like a mission where you go and take them out.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
controversial.
I understand it, but I don't know. I don't remember.
That's not what I thought, but yeah, we can move on.
All right, let's moving on. Other game news that I was actually really excited about. I'm excited for GTA 6, but it's been like 10 years since I played it. At least GTA 5.
Yeah, the last GTA I played, I think, was GTA 4. That was the one I got into on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
I didn't even really play Vice City a whole lot.
So, Mass Effect releases a trailer on N7 Day, November 7th. And
a trailer for what?
A new game.
Really?
Mass Effect 4. Yeah, new character. Or it might be the same character. I don't know. They don't know. They haven't released much. It's supposed to be a sequel to Mass Effect, but it's not like Andromeda.
Yeah. Why can't anything just like stay dead?
No, Mass Effect's amazing. I want that world. Give it to me.
Why not? Well, like why couldn't we just like why can't they make new franchises? Like why couldn't Starfield be good? Like that should have been like the new Mass Effect, right?
Why can't Starfield be good? I mean, it's fair. Or Outer Worlds.
Yeah, like there's all these games that like I feel like should have scratched that itch, but now it's like no, we're gonna have to go back to
here's how I feel
in order to.
No, here's how I feel about Mass Effect. I think they could still do it. They can still do story. Like they have a whole sandbox for this series, and it wasn't like how. Here's the thing: if they don't do Commander Shepard, they don't do that character. Like he's like a character, but he's not like the main character. They did a new main character, same world, but different story, and maybe not have it be like galaxy ending. It's just you playing in that sandbox. I think that could be successful, especially with the character, especially with the crew. Like
I feel like that was kind of the downturn that Saints Row did, and it did not work out for them. Although there were other issues with that game, but they kind of did the same thing as far as like bringing it way back and like lowering the stakes a ton and like trying to bring it down to like these like simpler routes. But everyone wanted the massive stakes and the craziness and stuff like that. There were other issues with that game, but
yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, like if you tell a really good story, like a good personal story, like the stakes will be high for those characters.
That's true.
And like Andromeda was a pretty big failure. That game was a new galaxy. It was fine. It was okay, but it wasn't like the character building wasn't great. It wasn't as great as it could have been. It felt more of a cash grab. But I will say, like, I do think there is an avenue or a road for a Mass Effect game to have success, like a new Mass Effect game.
I would agree with that. I just wish that we would get more original IPs. I wish studios and stuff were more willing to take risks and make games that maybe aren't pandering to the lowest common denominator all the time, just trying to be like the biggest game ever.
Oh,
like make a game that's for like, niche groups and stuff like that.
I agree.
It doesn't need to be massive and stuff. It doesn't need to be hundreds of hours long. I mean, look at Spider-Man 2.
I will say this though. I think your argument is sound. It's valid. I think it's just brought up. I don't think Mass Effect's the right one to do because like we haven't had much Mass Effect games. Like we've had 4 of them.
But I mean we've gone through the steamroller with them. Like the first one was, I mean it was good, but like going back and playing it now, it's like impossible because the controls and stuff are so terrible.
If you do the remake, it's pretty easy.
Is it better?
It's a lot better.
Mass Effect 2 probably like the best one.
Amazing. Yeah.
Mass
Effect 3 has
they fumbled the ending so hard,
but it's still a great story overall. Still a fun game. Still, I would even say it's a great game.
And then they release a cash grab in Andromeda.
I would say it's good. It was like a 3-. Like there's good parts into it. You could make an argument for a 3 total. I think it was a disappointment though. I will say this: if I were to announce a Call of Duty like news, and I'm done with Call of Duty at this point, but if I were to release that news, I think your point would be valid. Make a new franchise, or same with like Assassin's Creed, like Assassin's Creed Vikings. Like I hear it's good, like Valhalla is a good game, but at that same point, it's like, dude, just make a Vikings game. Like it doesn't need to be Assassin's Creed.
I'd much rather get the new Dragon Age game than Mass Effect.
Yeah,
that's a franchise I feel like deserves it more.
Maybe. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, so I'm excited.
I know. I just feel like Mass Effect, it had its time, like it
that's fair.
Eventually did get its ending that it deserved. And it's like, let's move on to a new book, a new story.
Well,
I guess the universe isn't, it's just like the problem with like being in the same universe is then it has to connect to everything, and then you're going to feel like
yes and no. Like you could do it like 1,000 years later.
Yeah.
And tell a whole new story with characters and expand the lore that way. The galaxy's huge. I think like your points are valid. I just don't think it's valid for Mass Effect.
Yeah, I guess I'm definitely not the biggest Mass Effect fanboy, so I'm not the one to say, but I just wish we got more original stuff.
I will say this though, if Mass Effect 4 or whatever they call it ends up like, if it just sucks, I will agree and say just kill it. Like it had its time. It was a great 3 games. Like we can leave it at that. Make a new game that's similar to Mass Effect, but not Mass Effect.
It's BioWare, right? That does Mass Effect.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
BioWare did Old Republic, right?
Yeah, and they did the other game I was just talking about, Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Origins and stuff. What have they done lately?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think we should move on a little bit though.
Yeah, you're good. You can move on.
Okay. Last little bit of video game news, and then we'll segue to video game related news. Fans are mad at Mortal Kombat and Warner Bros. For the Omni-Man release for MK11. Or is it 12? MK1.
Yep. Why are they mad?
Because so they had the DLC, and the DLC was like $40 or so for like all the characters, but they are charging more money for like different skins and like different voice announcements. $10 for an Omni-Man voice announcement.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of like controversy of the fact that they're just being very greedy about these skins.
Yeah, that's and like disappointing. NetherRealm was one of the good ones.
Yep. Warner Bros, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, they're the worst.
They're up there. I think Warner Bros is one of the big reasons why like the writing strike and the actors strike was delayed.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think Warner Bros is the reason DC is where it is right now.
I mean, they put Zack Snyder in charge, so
yeah. And then, but then they also did not let him be in charge at the same time.
Yeah,
with studio interference.
Like which is worse, like if like you hire somebody who doesn't understand the characters and then you like give them away creativity rights. It's like, well, at least like he had a vision.
Yeah, at least let him. Yeah, I mean that's the reason why everyone wanted the Snyder cut of Justice League and stuff like that, because it's like
He had a
at
vision.
least it was like, yeah, there was like a direction behind it, and it wasn't just a cobbled mess of cut together stuff.
Agreed. All right, moving on. We got 6 left.
Okay.
And I will say
it's only an hour 15. I mean,
yeah, the last
we're on
5
schedule
is,
for us.
the last 5 is like Star Wars, so we don't have to get much into it. But I want to talk about, because I went through all the shows that I reviewed for the show and talked about for the show, and I want to know how the strike affected those shows. So the next one is Last of Us.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched season 1 yet.
I have not.
You should. It's
I know.
great.
I know it's good. And I have also. I've never played Last of Us, but I did watch PewDiePie play the whole thing many years ago.
Okay.
Back when I used to be big on YouTube.
I recommend it. It's great. It's a good adaptation. There is some, I would say, like the biggest complaint I have about it was it wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
But like if that's my complaint, then it's a great show. Like if your complaint is like, hey, this is great, we want more, give us more. Could have filled out
in that sense, yeah.
Could have filled out more
like
details.
There is an opposite stance though, where it's like it was where something could be missing so much to where wanting more could mean it was bad.
That too. They just need more clickers, really, in my opinion. They need more more of the infected,
more of the
involved.
actual threat.
Yep.
Although that's not really the threat in Last of Us. The threat in Last of Us is the people, right?
The humans, but more just like if you want to feel like it's a consistent threat. Like it's like Walking Dead. If you do zombies way too much, it's not like that exciting because it's like once you deal with it a few times, it's like the same story over and over. I just wanted them to just show that like, hey, they dealt with clickers, or like just moments or even flashbacks of them like going through and like dealing with clickers. I don't need to see much of it, just a little bit more. But
I mean, that was my biggest complaint about The Walking Dead, was the fact that they just like stopped caring about zombies when that was the whole point of the show.
yeah, the comic kind of, I wouldn't say stops caring about it, but like the comic was always about the humans. The zombies were just there.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not about the zombies, but they're like, I feel like in the first couple seasons for sure, like it was a constant threat. Like you felt like there was like this constant threat. Then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, nobody cares about them anymore.
They're manageable.
Yeah. Which does make sense, I guess, in some ways. Like eventually, if you were set up enough to where you could build bases and weapon up and stuff like that to where it wouldn't be such a threat, but then it becomes kind of boring.
It does. But speaking of Last of Us, season 2, there's season 2 news. So production is coming in early 2024. This is kind of the change because it was supposed to come out now. It was supposed to come late 2023, but now it's coming early 2024, which leads to the bad news that Last of Us season 2 probably isn't coming until 2025.
Yeah.
Which is the disappointing news. But they did promise that there would be more clickers in season 2, which I'm happy about because like that is like one of the bigger threats. All right, should we get into Star Wars stuff and call it good? All right, getting into the Star Wars news. Kevin Feige, Star Wars movie is not happening.
Kevin Feige was supposed to make a Star Wars movie?
Yep, he's supposed to produce one. Now it's not happening.
I think that's a good idea because he's got his hands more than full.
Well,
with Marvel.
Here's the thing.
Be fucking around with another franchise.
Well, here's the thing, man. There is a rumor that Kevin Feige might be leaving Marvel for Star Wars.
That's the end game, right? That's the real like
after Secret Wars.
That's the killer.
After Secret Wars,
that'll be the killer of the Marvel franchise.
I think so.
I really think he's the only reason it is as good as it is, and even the bad stuff. The reason why it's bad is because he wasn't able to have his hand in it as much as he should have.
Yeah. Do you think? So I would agree. If he moves to Marvel, it's probably over. Do you think if he moves to Star Wars, that Star Wars improves, or do you think it kind of just stays the same?
I think Star Wars needs to go underground for a couple years again.
Yeah. Well,
I think
they're on a weird track. At least TV stories.
I think there's way too much Star Wars stuff right now.
There is.
I don't think there ever was meant to be this much Star Wars stuff.
I don't think so either. I'm on the fence on it. I agree, but I also disagree on the fact that like if we get great shows, it's good. But if we get like because Disney's doing this thing where they're doing so many different shows, a lot of the quality is just meh.
Yep.
And that's kind of the complaint of MCU, Star Wars, even their Pixar movies. Like a lot of it's just meh these days.
It's mid.
It's mid, yeah. But let's talk about these Star Wars shows because the next are the 3 that are coming out soon. Andor was originally set for August 2024. Andor is amazing. I would suggest watching it, Brandon. Season 1 is like peak. It's not mid whatsoever. It's peak. It's a 5 out of 5. It's amazing. It's like it's so good that I'm like I don't even know if I like this being Star Wars because Star Wars has never been great. Like,
yeah, you know.
Hold on. I take that back. Yeah. It's never been elite outside of its genre. And what I mean by elite outside of its genre, I think Empire Strikes Back is like it's only 5 of a movie. Andor is like arguably better than Empire Strikes Back in the terms of like cinematic, like the cinematic, the writing, the acting. Like Andor is arguably like one of the greatest shows in the last 5 years.
And it's completely drugged down by being surrounded by crap.
It's like
because I don't want to watch it because I don't want to watch the other stuff. So I'm just gonna like go in and pick and choose, be like, oh, I'll watch one season of this show and watch one season of this show. Like I can't do that.
Well, Andor is like Andor is mostly just connected to Rogue One. It's mostly connected to that because like the character, like the main character died in Rogue One.
Yep. But
like I will say it is amazing. Andy Serkis is in it. He's amazing.
Yeah. I believe it. It's just it's in the middle of this massive franchise. It's like okay, go to this like place for this one thing that's really good. Everything else around it is not that great, but you're going to make this whole dedicated trip to this universe essentially just for this one good piece of pie.
Worth it.
I can't.
It's worth it. It is worth it. But that being said, watching Andor, and then the next bit of news is Mandalorian season 4. I will say, going from Andor to Mandalorian, it's tough because Andor has like amazing dialogue. Like the characters speak in a way that like it's just really, really fresh. And then Mandalorian, I remember going from Andor to season 3 and just watch out for the children. Rah, 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 rah. Like like the dialogue.
Like everything is like 80 yard over.
Whereas like or Andor, I forget the one quote that was just amazing. Like, I'll miss you, man. You're like, yeah, that's love. Like,
I mean, that was
like one of the quotes.
Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to.
No, I'm just saying like there was like one quote where it's like I will miss you. Like, yeah, but that's just love. And I never heard like it like made me rethink and contextualize like what is love, what is fighting, what is like to be part of like a oppressed like society. Like I've never had to think so much for a Star Wars show than going to season 3 being like save the children. Like it's so. But go on to what you were saying.
I was just gonna say that I will say that I think Rogue One is one of the best pieces of Star Wars media that has come out in quite a while.
It's amazing. It's the same writer.
Yep, I think that the fact that it is so separate from everything else while still like having its roots in the story, I think made it good. But it's hard to.
I understand.
I watched the first season of Mandalorian, and that's as far as I've gotten into any of the external Star Wars stuff.
Mandalorian's a good watch. It's getting Disneyfied a little bit, and like season 3 was the writing was frustrating. Ahsoka's not bad. But speaking of Mando, since you brought it up,
I thought the first season was good, mainly just because it really felt like Star Wars, but at the same time, like not a whole lot of stuff happened.
No,
it felt more true to Star Wars than like the newer movies that we got.
Yeah,
but it was also kind of boring at the same time.
Fair. I thought it was great. I have it as a 4+ for season 1. But I just really liked it because it was just Mandalorian going on quests and side quests. And it was just kind of fun to see the lore expand. But season 4, this is the next bit of news. season 4 is probably pushed back. The filming was supposed to be in October. Obviously, that got moved back. The rumor is early 2024. However, Pedro Pascal is doing both Last of Us and Mandalorian, so I don't know how that's going to work for filming. That being said, though, Pedro actually wasn't on the set for season 3. He just voices the character. I will say I don't like that either, because there is a big bit of difference, and they don't really use Mando a whole lot in season 3.
Yep.
Last bit of news for Star Wars: Skeleton Crew, another movie with Jude Apatow. Jude Law. No, not him. Jude Law. Jude Law. He's going to be part of it. I don't know much about it, but it's supposed to be coming out early 24, but it's unknown if they scrap the whole thing, if it's still coming out, if it's coming out in 2024. It's kind of unknown where Skeleton Crew is at. And that is it. That is all the news that I have that came out in like the last week or so.
That's pretty good.
I've been like saving up these news. I'm like, oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Fuck. We just need an episode to talk about every single bit of these news. So I appreciate you.
There's probably going to be a bunch more coming out in the next week, I'm sure.
Yes, and we will only have like 30 minutes to talk about it if we were to talk about it.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I say for
maybe
now,
it'll be 2 separate episodes.
I hope not. Hopefully, we can just get through it right away. But I will say thank you, Brandon, for coming on. If we have more news, then you will just hear us talk in the next couple seconds. If not, that's the end of the episode. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, you, Brandon. All right. Welcome back. It's only been a few seconds for our listeners. It's been a full week for me and Brandon.
Yes. Full week.
Full week. One whole scare, because we both thought we had to do this all over again.
Yeah. Pleasant surprise when you found the audio.
Yep. Called you immediately. I was like, like, we don't have to redo it. I was so mad. So ticked off. Like, I was like ready to. Yeah, I was just angry.
It feels bad.
I was angry at myself a little bit too, but then realized, like, went back on the website, kind of looked around a little bit more and found there's a weird tab between projects and recordings on the site that I use for remote. Found it, and I was like, yes, thank you. We don't have to do a whole 90-minute podcast all over again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised indeed. And we don't have much to talk about. Just a little bit details, just to kind of go over. So let's go into the details for Sag-AFTRA, and then we'll get into the news.
Okay.
So Sag-AFTRA, just some of the details that I've looked up this week. Actors will get. I'm just going to read off an article that I read.
Okay.
Actors will get a hike in basic minimum wage. For anyone with a speaking role, it's at least minimum will increase to 7%. And then by 2 years, it'll be like 14%.
Okay.
Background actors will get 11% increase.
Okay. Seems significant.
Yep. Actors will get streaming residuals, at least 20% or more.
Seems good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know the details of it.
Yeah, the numbers. Yeah, it's hard to know though. Yeah, percentage. It seems good.
Bonuses will equal 100% of actors' residuals, but only 75 will go directly, and then 25 will be kind of spread out. And the idea between that is to spread the wealth.
Okay.
And then the union members will get improvements in pensions, new limits on virtual auditions, and yada yada. And then the big concern that I've read about is just the idea of AI productions, because now you have to get consent, but they didn't plan for the idea of like, what if studios was like, hey, you must give us consent or we won't hire you for this role, and they don't have protections against that.
Yeah, I could see that being a problem.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest
for like mainstay roles and stuff like that. I could see studios trying to do that. If you want to be the new main character, then you have to sign your rights over.
right, which isn't great, but I mean it's a lot better than what it was.
It's a good start.
It's a good start. It's 3 years. We'll see from there. So those are the details of the Sag-AFTRA deal, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the news that dropped. Kind of, I feel like it like slowed down a lot.
Yeah, they dropped a lot of the big stuff right away. It seemed like as soon as they had the green light to.
So a lot of this is like some of the trailers that came out this week, and then some rumors and news. So should we get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm trying to figure out which one I want to start with. Last of Us shooting update is they're shooting late February, and it's going all the way to September. And people are trying to figure out like what's going on with Pedro Pascal because he has a really busy 2024 ahead of him.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
He has to do voice acting for The Mandalorian season 4. He's not going to be on set, which we already talked about.
Sad, yeah.
Last of Us season 2, he has to film for. And there's a whole new rumor coming out this week that Pedro Pascal is going to be playing Reed Richards in the new Fantastic Four movie.
I like Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
He's a good actor.
Yep.
Definitely not upset with the choice. There's a few people that I was kind of excited for, but
yeah,
I'd be okay
I don't
with
know.
That.
I don't know if it's not confirmed yet. It seems pretty realistic, but also I thought Adam Driver was going to be for the role.
Yeah, I would have been cool with that. I like Adam Driver a lot too.
I think he'd been great. He's not like the perfect pick, but I think he would have been great too. And then they moved. It seems like that's no longer a thing.
I still would have been down with Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny. I think that would have been a good fit too.
Yeah, he definitely has the looks for it. I don't know how I feel about Pedro Pascal. Like for one, he's going to be the dad of the family. So like another daddy role for him. Good job. Like
number one dad.
So like in that regards, I'm like, yes, it has to be him now. But also I'm like, I don't know if I see him as Reed Richards. Like I think he can do it. Don't get me wrong, he can do it. But I don't know if he's the perfect Pedro Pascal or the perfect Pedro.
He's definitely the perfect Pedro Pascal.
Perfect Reed Richards. But that's how I felt about him and Joel too. Like I didn't think he was the perfect Joel Miller, but he plays a pretty good Joel.
Mm-hmm. I haven't actually watched The Last of Us show, so I can't comment on it. But I've heard it's good, and I'm sure it's good.
It's good. He plays it well. I think I wouldn't say it's the best version of the two, but I think it's like a really, really well done live action performance.
Okay.
Other news for that movie: Javier Bardem is rumored to be Galactus. I believe Javier is the one who plays. He's the villain in Skyfall. I believe
potentially. I think of No Country for Old Men. That's like the iconic role for me for Javier.
Oh, it is. Yep. I mean, he was great in both, and so like the idea of him being Galactus, I'm like, yes, sign me up in any villain. I don't know if he's like, I don't see him necessarily as Galactus, but I'm like, just put him as a villain. He's going to be great.
Yeah, I never really thought of somebody being cast as Galactus, but I guess it does make sense to actually have somebody like play him. But it is kind of a weird thought to think of somebody like playing Galactus in a movie.
Well, I think of him as just like I forget the guy's name in No Country Old Men. It starts with an A, I believe. But like he's such a tall, like standing figure, like looming figure.
Intimidating.
And like that's Galactus to a T. He's tall. He's
menacing. He's got the look for it for sure.
And I'm
it is interesting to me. I just hope we don't end up with like a MODOK situation.
Oh yeah. That
where it's just like his face pasted on this really bad CGI Galactus body.
It was pretty. I didn't hate it overly, like overall, like the look of MODOK, but it's definitely one of those like, I feel like
sometimes comic book things don't quite translate directly to the screen, and you have to make more adjustments to make it look right.
I agree. So yeah, that's the big rumor is Pedro Pascal is going to be playing Reed Richards. Javier Bardem is going to be Galactus. I'm excited for all of
I've
it.
also heard rumors that it's gonna might focus more on Sue Storm being like the main character
Oh
and like
yeah, I heard that
more
too.
being like a story about her. I mean, obviously with still everyone in it, but and
Mhm.
I guess I don't have any problem with that.
I
I'm
would
just
be,
excited. I'm curious to see what that means. I guess I'm
I
not
would,
super familiar with a lot of Fantastic Four stuff.
I would be down. I feel like Sue Storm can get like the shaft sometimes. Not to, no pun intended with that. But I feel like a lot of times, like when a Fantastic Four story, it's not focused on her, but she's such an interesting character when you do focus on her.
Yeah,
So I'm down for it. I'm just the only like
I just hope
hesitancy
everyone gets enough screen time because the
that too.
Fantastic Four is a team effort.
Yeah,
It
I
wouldn't
just
be
think
good if
of
it focused on any individual
agreed.
too
I
much.
I just keep thinking of South Park Vanderverse, where it's like Disney's like, woman, like we got to focus.
I still haven't
Everything
watched that
has
yet.
to be. It's great. You should watch it.
Yeah, I should
And
watch it.
I have no problem with her if she's like the main character. No problem with it, as long as they
As
just
long as
like
it's a good
don't.
story, that's
Yeah,
all
and
I
they
care
don't
about.
necessarily overdo it, if that makes sense. Like I don't know.
Hmm.
So we'll see. I'm excited for that movie. Always Sunny in Philadelphia is supposed to be the theme or the inspiration. So
Yeah, which I'm curious if it's not like Glenn Howerton, then what does that mean exactly?
maybe he's the second
Just like
choice.
very, yeah, maybe it's just like very candid or something like that. Like Always
Who
Sunny kind of
knows?
feels like you're like actually there, like just hanging out in the bar, like watching these people be crazy and stuff. And I wonder if that's kind of like the style they're gonna go for, like a fly on the wall type thing.
That'd be kind of
Just
cool,
kind of
honestly.
witnessing like how they go through their days and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Could be interesting.
Could be. All right, should we talk about the next news?
Let's do it.
Other MCU news. Marvel, what if season 2 has the trailer has dropped? And you know what? I'm somewhat excited for it.
I have to admit I have not watched the trailer yet.
It's
But
all
I
right.
did hear I heard rumors, or is he in the trailer, Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man?
Um,
Otherwise I heard that he was like confirmed to be voice acting in it or something like that. I
he
don't know.
did.
It was
I'm pretty
something
sure
very strong rumor.
he didn't voice act the first season, so I don't understand if he would be in season 2. And I don't think we need him for the voice
No, I
act.
think it might just be like one of those pushes to try to get people back in by being able to say that Robert
Yeah,
Downey Jr. is in it, even if he's just doing like
that's
a
fair.
random Iron Man voice role.
Yeah,
I
I'd be
mean,
down
I'm
for it.
here for it. Yeah, I'm here for it. But at the same time, it does seem, I don't know if that's even worse if that's what they do after like rumors of bringing Iron Man back, and then they're like, oh, we're just gonna have him voice some people in What If.
Just kidding. He's coming back
Yeah,
in What If.
yeah. It kind
Cool.
of feels like they're pulling the rug out. It kind of feels like a Ralph Boner
Yeah.
situation again, to be honest.
Boner. Yeah.
Yeah,
It seems like it. I don't know. I've never What If. I didn't really enjoy the first season of it. I think there's
I
a
enjoyed a few of
couple.
them.
There was a few episodes. I'm like, like the Party Thor
Zombies
one.
was
I'm
dope.
like,
Yeah,
Zombie was dope. The Doctor
the
Strange
Doctor
one
Strange
was like
one was awesome.
was like a better story than Into the
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. And like I
Yeah,
like that movie. I give it a pretty good rating. I just like, ooh, that's like the best Doctor Strange story of like the entire MCU is
yeah.
the What If one. So I'm here for it. If they can pull off a couple like amazing episodes, sign me up.
It's fun. Yeah, I appreciate What If just because you don't have to watch it all, and you can
Yeah.
kind of just pick and choose. And if you're interested in something,
Well, if you want to watch the finale, you do have to watch most of it because it takes unless season 2 isn't going to do that. But season 1 was, hey, all these characters from the other episodes, like they're going to have their own finale. It's all going to connect. So,
I
the
don't know if I
other
watched that or not.
you, sh- you should. It's good. It's a good ending. It's cool to hear Michael B. Jordan voice Killmonger and him being like a bigger villain in that.
Okay.
It's cool.
Yeah, I did forget about that part. Yeah.
The other trailer that dropped, and I believe you watched this one, Madam
Yes.
Web.
Yes. Of course.
And this movie looks to be okay. Looks all right.
It's either gonna be like kind of like surprisingly decent, or it's gonna be
Morbius.
like the worst one. Yeah, worst
It's
one.
Morbin time.
The only reason why I have like a faint glimmer of interest / hope is because it's the first like Sony-verse movie that is like actually directly referencing Spider-Man and like has like
Yeah.
a direct impact on like Spider-Man
Two
existing.
Spider-Woman and one Spider-Girl, and then an evil Spider-Man protagonist.
Yeah, I think he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then there's
antagonist.
going to be like well, I don't know who's going to be the bad guy. I just know he's going to be antagonist. And then they
Yeah.
have Ben Parker, it looks like. I forget.
Yeah,
They're going to have like a
and,
version of Peter in it.
Yeah, Ben Parker he's in the trailer. He's played by Adam Scott, I think. I think he he's like one of the paramedics.
Is it Adam Scott?
That's what I heard. And I heard
Okay.
that Emma Roberts is playing his mom.
I remember I remember seeing the trailer and I'm like, that guy looks like Adam Scott.
Yeah.
It'd be dope if it was Adam Scott. It probably isn't.
Adam Scott. Yeah, it was Adam Scott. And Emma Roberts plays his mom. Apparently you can see her in one of the trailer shots, like from the back. She's pregnant, nice. I think, with Peter during the part. Okay. I'm assuming there's going to be like a big time jump.
Yeah.
To where, and maybe we'll even get a Spider-Man in the time jump. That would be cool, although probably not.
Yeah, we'll see. This is definitely one of those movies where, like, when they announced it, I was just kind of like, why? And then they like, the Madam Web's going to be younger. And I'm like, why? Like, this movie seems forced. But then watching the trailer, I'm like, okay, it's unique. I don't know how I feel about it. It doesn't match like the lore, but it plays around with the lore a little bit. It's different. I'm like, I'll give it a watch.
More maybe. Of Sony dancing around Spider-Man without actually, like, they're getting closer Spider-Man. And closer. Yeah, they're circling in on Spider-Man. Soon enough, they won't have any choice.
I really hate those type of like movies that's just like, hey, we're gonna dance around the character, we're gonna tease them, but we're never gonna deliver. It's like,
that's the whole Sony-verse.
I mean, it feels like Gotham. It feels like Smallville. It feels, you know, like it's just give us what we want. Like, I'm okay with the prequels. I'm okay with like other characters getting the spotlight. I don't know.
It's hard to care about all these other characters as much without Spider-Man.
Yeah, like I'm blanking on Kraven, like a Kraven movie. If there was like a flashback of like Kraven fighting a version of Spider-Man, and then you go back to like his story and it's a completely different story, but you just like have that flashback, boom, like that's all I need.
Yeah, like, I mean, just tell us that Spider-Man exists, like at the very least in their universe, like like actually.
So we got to move on a little bit so we have enough time to. But yeah, looks decent. We'll see. I'm gonna wait till the ratings come out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to the theater to see it. I'll tell you that much.
Unless the ratings are amazing, then I'm like, all right, then I'll watch it.
That'll be a tough sell, but we'll see.
Speaking of MCU, we got some breaking news for a character playing or a actor playing a character. Robert Kirkman talking about Invincible dropped news that Steven Yeun, who plays Invincible, who plays Glenn in Walking Dead, is going to be playing Sentry/Void and Thunderbolts.
That's like one of my favorite Marvel characters, to be honest.
He's
very interesting story.
Interesting story. I know a little bit about it, and I haven't really read a comic based on Sentry/Void, but I did some like research into it. I'm like, oh, this is an interesting character. And Steven Yeun has been rumored to play this role forever now. So it's but so like the confirmation is just like, oh, okay, it's finally confirmed.
It's an interesting character, very powerful, and it's something I didn't think that the MCU was going to actually do. I didn't think we'd ever see Sentry in like the MCU.
In Thunderbolts, which I also didn't think was going to be a thing.
Yep.
I will say Steven Yeun, I'm excited to see him in the MCU because he is a pretty good actor. I mean, Walking Dead was really good as Glenn, but just when I saw him in Nope play the cowboy character, the showman, and just seeing him act and kind of just like the way he was going about it, I'm like, oh, I want more Steven Yeun in my life. Like,
I mean, he's great as Invincible. Excited for it.
He is, very much is. Two more pieces of news. Exploding Kittens is the card game is getting a Netflix show.
Classic. Classic Netflix.
And then the very last one, also Netflix news. Pokemon Claymation is coming soon.
I've heard that people are going nuts for the trailer for that, the teaser. I haven't seen it yet, but
I haven't seen it yet. I just saw that it was like, oh, I'm just gonna mention it. I'm for it. I'm for more Pokemon. I think we need more
going
shows.
crazy for it.
So I hope it's cool. It looked like the pictures I saw looks cute.
It's one of the markets that, like, media wise, isn't oversaturated yet. So
at least not, At least not when it comes to like TV shows. It's not
because I mean they had the original Pokemon anime for like 20 years or something like that, and that was it. And then some movies that came out occasionally.
Yep. There's like 20
Detective
to 30
Pikachu
movies.
was big. Yeah.
Yep.
But all the movies were like based off of like the cartoon anime a lot. So where people that didn't watch the anime and stuff also didn't watch the movies.
Oh yeah. All right, and I think that's it for news. That's it. All right, thank you guys. It's a longer episode, but this is the news episode. I think I decided what I'm going to call this episode. It's going to be called A News Longie.
There you go. It's a longie.
All right, thanks guys. We are out. Brandon, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we are done.